I might be crazy. I quit my job without having another one lined up for the next school year. The statement is that no matter what we do for kids, we always need to do for teachers, because teachers are the ones who make it happen. It's going to be my normal kind of video. When I filmed some of this, I was like having a hard time like expressing myself, and so it'll be a little slower pace than what you're used to, but I promise you that you want to listen to the whole thing so you can understand the story. Today is Thursday. It is May 16th, 2024. So you may have noticed, if you've been following on my community page for this channel, I made a post maybe a week ago saying that I might be crazy. Let me go back in time and I'll tell you why. Thursday afternoon on March the 21st, 2024, and a lot has happened. By the time you watch this video, I will already have accepted a new position in a different district. This is not what I expected. Let me tell you how I got here. So it's been a long day. I'm kind of, my brain is sort of frazzled right now. I am, as you know, getting ready to go into my principal internship starting in the fall. And I need to spend 15 to 20 hours each week for 14 weeks. Doing things that principals do to get myself ready for, becoming a principal eventually, in order to pass my program requirements for Liberty. I've been having a back and forth with my district for months now. It started before Christmas when I approached my administrator and said, I'm going to need several hours off in the afternoon, a few days a week, to try to get my hours in. And I thought at that time I was going to be able to start my internship in January. But there was another step that I didn't realize. Because I'm an online student, sometimes information is hard to come by. And I missed one of the requirements that I had to have in. No big deal. Went ahead and started working on those requirements. But in the meantime, I had a conversation with my administrator about the fact that there was no one that they could spare staff-wise to come into my room for a couple hours, a couple of days a week, so that I could shadow the principal, so that I could participate in things like discipline, learning certain aspects of the role that I can't do after school. Now, I'm more than willing to put in before and after school time to help with my principal journey. However, like my planning time, I barely have time to get the things done that I need to get done during the school day. So planning time is really out of the question. It's not even really long enough to add up to much anyway, as far as my internship is considered. So I had some concerns about the fact that there were no assistants or any other staff in the building that might be able to provide me what they call release time, to be able to go into classrooms, to observe teachers, to shadow discipline, conversations, things like that. In my district, I'm part of what we call Region 1 in North Carolina. Region 1 is a small school district. We are rural, and because we are very rural, it has a lot to do with water and how the ocean and the sounds and the inlets and everything separate us geographically from larger cities. What that means for us is essentially that we're operating on limited personnel. And so our administrators don't have a lot of the support roles that are normally in some of the larger schools in our state. So for example, you might not have an instructional coach. You might not have, some places they might only have one assistant principal for quite a large number of students. Things like that. There's just not a lot of extra people around. What that means going into your principal position is that you better know what you're doing before you get there, because if you don't, there aren't a lot of people to fall back on, to get help from, to delegate to, those kinds of things. And when you have a limited staff, you really need to have expertise in all the things that a principal does. So as far as being an optimal candidate for a principal position later on, which is what I see myself doing as my next step, like assistant principal, then principal, obviously. I'm not going to be ready unless I actually have gone through and legitimately done all the things that a principal does in my internship. So I've been trying to approach this as professionally as possible. I've been trying to seek outside the box types of solutions to the problem. I spoke to my field placement office. I spoke to my superintendent. I spoke to my principal, my assistant principal. There's just like no real way that doing a full-time teaching job, I'm going to be able to do these requirements and do them well. So because I refuse to do things halfway, and I need to do them well so that I'm prepared to actually take on the role of an assistant principal or a principal at some point, I asked for a half-time position next year. Basically, what I was asking my district to do was to allow me a leave of absence for 1 year to pursue the rest of my degree, which is something that is actually in North Carolina law. It provides for teachers to be able to take time off for their education and still retain their position. I was trying to offer half-time instead of full-time. Maybe if I had told them that I wanted 1 year of leave as a full-time absence, they might have accepted that more readily. I don't know. I didn't ask them. But logistically, like, we're trying to also save for a house. And while we do not need my full income, we do need half of my income. And so, you know, in some way, shape, or form, I do have to work next year, not just do my internship. There was a part-time position that came available. It was for an ESL teacher, which I have experience with ESL, and I enjoy doing work for students in that category, supporting students that have those types of needs. It was a contract position. It was for 1 year, and which would have been okay, but the problem was that it was classified, not certified. So the pay was basically going to be like next to nothing. It was basically going to be teacher assistant pay, which in our state, teacher assistants do not make a livable wage. They're trying to do something about it, but they really don't make a livable wage. So I offered my district, to work half days. I asked if they would hire a 1 year part-time teacher to do the other half of my contract, that I would plan with that teacher. To me, having a teacher in the afternoon for a class is no different than departmentalizing, where you have a science teacher, a social studies teacher, a math teacher, an ELA teacher. Those students have to visit different classrooms at different times of the day. This would be the same classroom, just 2 different teachers, instead of like 4 different teachers if they were switching classes. They denied my petition. They said it was not in the best interest of students, which I did not ask more information about it because I felt like it would just make me appear to be difficult. So I didn't. I'm not really sure how it's not in the best interest of students if we can departmentalize in the next grade. These aren't like second graders. These are fourth graders that I have currently. The next thing that came open was an EC director position, which EC is exceptional children, so it's the special education department. That would be a significant promotion for me. It would be central office. I don't want to be in a central office position at this point. I want to be in a school building. I want to be around teachers. I want to be around students. I want to be in the middle of where the action is happening. Central office is 2 steps removed from that. So I went to my superintendent and had a conversation to kind of feel her out a little bit and find out what her view was on the flexibility of the position, whether or not it would be possible for me to apply for this position with the intention of working in an office out of the building where I currently teach. That would have enabled me a little bit of flexibility to be able to pop in on a lunch duty, to do bus duty, support the school throughout the day, as well as doing my role and then taking home any additional work that needed to be done that I wasn't able to do because I was also working on these requirements. After the conversation with my superintendent, I realized that wasn't going to be possible. She was not willing to think about the position in that way. She said that she had concerns because in the past there was a visibility issue. A visibility issue meaning that if I were to have an office at the school building, there's also another campus that the position would cover, and that I wouldn't be equally available to both campuses. However, in our particular setting, the other campus is separated by a ferry ride. So quite honestly, I'm not going to be available in that role to the other campus without planning in advance. I feel like visibility is about communication, and in order to be available to the people that you need to be available to, there needs to be good communication about when you're meeting. If meetings are decided upon last minute, then you're going to have difficulty getting the people that you need at the table. But if things are well planned and structured and no one's doing more than they can handle so that things are organized, then it's possible for you to be visible at the right times for both campuses, regardless of where your office is. To me, I guess I'm just more of an outside of the box, creative kind of problem solver. And had someone come to me and ask that, my inkling would have been, okay, well, let's see how we can make this work for you. That conversation left me feeling like my work was not valuable because the superintendent understands that in order for me to stay here, I have to be able to finish the degree that I started, the degree that I have spent hours and thousands of dollars working on. It really just made me feel like she doesn't care if I stay or if I go. That is a really hard pill to swallow because I haven't just been here for the last 3 years. I have been here, this is my 8th year with this district. She's only seen me in a short period of time, so any judgments that she's making about my abilities, about my personality, about my character as an employee have to do with the limited interactions that she's had with me. And most of those interactions, I feel like I have had to be put on the defense because she's always assuming that my motivations are something other than what they actually are. It's so sad to me because I love this district and I don't want to leave. I'm sorry. So basically, when I started having discussions and realized that number one, the board wasn't going to give me any leeway to do this program and retain my job. And number two, the superintendent wasn't going to give me any grace to try to find a solution in my present role that would allow me to do these requirements. I realized that I needed to look for some other options. Joe and I have been looking at the possibility of building a retirement home kind of in the middle between our two oldest daughters, so that it would be easier for us to visit either side of the family. It's also closer to my parents, and as my parents age, that becomes more important to me, to be able to drive and visit them more frequently, or if something happens, to be able to get there more quickly. I happen to know someone personally that Joe and I are friends with through our work with the Emmaus organization, and I just started talking to him about the possibility of jobs for the next year. I interviewed for an assistant principal position at a school in that district, in that area, and the interview went very well. They chose another candidate who was already in-house, which makes sense. It always makes sense to promote from within. It's cheaper for the district. It helps with the transition because they already know what's going on in that building and in that district. And so, that was fine. I understood. But the interview went well, and they told me that they hoped that they would see me back. So I have an interview on Monday, and I was still trying to leave things open. But after the conversation this morning that I had with my superintendent about the director position, I just really feel like this is my direction now. If you are watching this video, that means that I received that position and that I'm getting ready to transition. This is a really difficult decision for me because I have built so many relationships here, and I love the people in this county. I love my families. I love the students. I did not have an easy year this year. I didn't have an easy year last year. Since COVID, things have just been a little upside down. But I will say that I have made some amazing progress with the students that I have in my class this year. And I am attached to them. And I want to see them in the hallway next year when they're fifth graders. I want to pass them when they're going to their specials or coming back from breakfast or lunch. I don't want to start over. Who likes to start over and try to get to know everyone and get everyone to know you, and that you're a good person and that you care about kids and that you're here for the right reasons and all those things? Like, that's really hard. But at this point in my career, I'm not messing around. I'm not waiting around all summer for someone to possibly find some way for me to do this internship, possibly not. I need to have my plan written and approved by the 1st of May. Needs to be turned into my field placement office so they can approve my internship placement. All of those things need to happen. I'm just gonna go for it, and I just have to let go. And letting go of something that you've worked so long and hard at building is really, really hard. Since making that video, I did talk to my superintendent, and to her credit, she tried to come up with a summer option for me, which, I'm sure that there are certain things that I could learn over the summer. Many of them would be planning types of things. There are plans in the works for us to have a summer program with great options offered to the students, but the problem is that historically our summer programs have not been well attended, and you can have the greatest program and the greatest ideas, but the first year that you try to implement it, you're not going to get a full population of students. And without that full population of students and full population of staff, that would be needed for me to really expand what I've already learned how to do. Any type of sign off that anyone would do as my mentor on me learning the skills that are necessary would not really be entirely honest. That's the best way I can describe it. Saying that you know how to run something, a building, with hundreds of students when you've only run a program with maybe 20 kids is actually dishonest, and no one should sign off on someone for doing that. I think that the superintendent had good motives. I think that her priorities are just in other places right now. There are things going on, renovations, construction projects, lots of plans for new things, and my needs right now as one teacher who not very many people ever try to do what I'm doing by working on a doctorate, completing this level of coursework that I'm trying to do while still being in the classroom. It's kind of something that's unusual, not your typical thing. And so I guess more than anything, I'm just sort of like asking for something that people aren't used to having to accommodate. And because of that, it's easy to just sort of say this way or forget it, and kind of like my way or the highway. And I just feel like with the efforts that I have made over the years and the positive things that I've done for the district and the emotional energy that I've invested in the people and the students, the above and beyond things that I have done over the years. Even if this past year I wasn't able to go above and beyond, there have been many years and many occasions where I have gone above and beyond for this district, for the people here, for the kids, that I feel like districts should recognize that. And when someone is asking for something that is a little above and beyond the work that that person has put into the system should be considered. So I am leaving on as positive of a note as I can. I am doing wonderful things with my students. We are having a good time these last couple of weeks. We are celebrating our accomplishments, even though our test scores may not be what I had hoped that they were. We're celebrating what we have learned this year, because I have brought these kids a long way. Academically, I've brought them a long way as people, getting along with each other, learning to be productive, all of these things, I've done that with them. And so we're going to enjoy the end of the year, and I am going to be kind, and I'm going to be positive with everyone that I talk to about the situation, and try to be as understanding and professional as I can with the district. But it does in a way like sting a little bit that I wasn't important enough, that what I needed after all of this time and all of the effort that I've put into my job here, my roles here that I've had, which have been like several different things that I've done, that the hard work that I've done was not recognized as being enough to do me a favor, which I really needed one. Where am I going from here? Since making this video, I actually had 2 more potential positions that I could consider doing in the same district. And the way that that district is set up, it is split between a K-2 school and then a 3-5 school. And I was originally thinking I might be able to do the music teacher position at the K-2 school, because they had a teacher there who was getting ready to retire. She's done the music teacher role, but she's also helped out by doing administrative duties, because the school was kind of on the edge of needing another administrator but not able to hire one. So she has helped out by serving in that capacity. So she's getting ready to retire, and it would have been the perfect thing for me to slide into that kind of half-day music, half-day administrative position. But it looks like now they are maybe rethinking kind of their numbers and how they need to move teachers around and move positions around to best serve their students. So I have accepted a position, but it's not at the K2 school. It is at the 3-5 school. I am going to be a 3rd grade teacher for Quimens School District, with the addition of having opportunities to have the hours that I need to complete my internship. I am going to be mentored by someone that I very much respect, somebody who has a lot of the same values as me, a Christian educator, a person that my husband and I have been friends with for years, in a school that is making amazing progress with their students. And I'm so proud to be calling myself a Panther next year. I can't wait to get in there and learn about all the things that they're doing. I can't wait to get in there and get my class roster and get my class set up. And so I'm really looking forward to it. There's already a book study that is happening for this summer, and I'm going to be part of that so I can get to know some of the staff and kind of get on board with their vision for the positive things that they're doing for the next school year. I'm going to be trying to get involved and attend their school improvement team meetings and all of their after school events. And I'm also going to be given some release days that are going to be paid for through their Title I money so that I can complete my internship hours and still get paid. And so it's wonderful, actually. And I'm thanking God that He is protecting our income, because I was ready to take half time to be able to do what I needed to do. And I even had, when I quit my job, I did it because, when I did it, because I wanted to make a statement. The statement is that no matter what we do for kids, we always need to do for teachers, because teachers are the ones who make it happen. So if teachers need something, if teachers are trying to grow, if teachers are trying to better themselves, giving them second best and is not good enough. Asking teachers to sacrifice something that they've been working on for a long time, that they've put a lot of hours into, a lot of money, and just do it in a not ideal way that's not really going to benefit their goals, it's not good enough. And it's really not about me. It's about the principle of the matter. It's about, what if someone else needs an internship later on? There are some teachers that I can think of in our building who would be amazing interns. And at some point in time, they're going to need to hire someone. And in this county, hiring from the inside is a good idea, because you want someone who's going to stay around, which that was my intention. My intention was to stay around. But, sometimes God has other plans for us, and I am ready to step into my new role in my new season and take on this challenge of getting to know a new staff. I am feeling much more positive about it now than I was when I filmed that last video, because I know that I just prayed about it and I just sort of let go and I let God do His thing, and I walked into the open doors. And I know that this feels like right. It feels right. It feels like a blessing. It feels like good timing and being around the right people at the right time. So I think that I'm going to have an extremely positive experience, and I'm going to learn a lot and grow a lot, and that's the goal. So I'm ending this video on a positive note. I'm thankful, and I'm so thankful for you guys for sticking around, because the last few weeks I haven't really been able to post very much because I had to wait for certain things to happen behind the scenes before I could say anything about, you know, where I was going, what I was doing, and I just didn't really want to talk about it until I had more like definitive plans. So thanks for hanging with me, and thanks for, you know, not giving up when I have been a little slow to post the last few weeks. I am really looking forward to bringing you along for my new classroom setup. I am excited to get in and see what my room is going to look like. That will happen later on this summer. I'm excited to go complete the paperwork and make it, you know, official, and just get in there and start doing and meeting people and moving forward in my life. So if you haven't already subscribed, this is not my normal kind of video, but thanks to all of you who have been my loyal community, and we just keep growing, and I'm looking forward to growing even more this summer as I get in and I start my new classroom. I have a new classroom theme, and in my next video I'm going to announce that, and I've already been buying some things. I should be getting a shipment soon, so I'm looking forward to unboxing all of that stuff. So if you haven't subscribed, subscribe, and I will be enjoying going through that stuff with you over the summer and making plans for the new year and getting all of my first month of school lessons together. Third grade's one of my absolute favorite grades I've ever taught, and honestly I started in third grade, and I'll say this, I'm going to end in third grade because the next position I'll have after that will be an administrative one. So woohoo, we're moving out, we're moving up. And thanks for being here for all of it. Don't forget, wherever you are, to work hard, be kind, and amazing things will happen. Bye-bye.